Hey ho, everybody! Welcome back to another edition of the Dirty and Driven Podcast. My name is James James. I'm your host on this highfalutin, awesome, fun Friday episode. Today, we got absolute rockstar guest. I'm also joined by my co-host, some would say the talent of the Dirty and Driven Podcast, Mr. Casey D. He's not on the intro though. Today, we talk to a fine, upstanding person, Miss Aria Morgan. She works for Plateau Excavation. You've probably seen them on the gram, on the TikTok. They have over 1,200 employees and over 950 machines, and they freaking rock some dirt, man. If you don't follow them at Plateau Excavation, because it is absolutely incredible the things that they do. Aria is out there on the ground taking pictures, taking videos, and really showcasing what they do. She is the head of marketing there, and you know, guys, this isn't a typical marketing podcast or anything like that. We talk about the good stuff. We talk about the dirt. We talk about hiring. We talk about attracting people. If you followed Dirty and Driven for very long, you know that our big thing is bringing people to the blue-collar world, which Plateau Excavation is doing, and teaching them how to kick ass, which is also what they're doing. We want to gain, train, and retain people. And guess what? They're gaining people. Okay, they're training people, and they have a very small turnover rate. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary, and they have people that have worked there for 37 years. That's pretty incredible. Okay, and also, they're getting over 45 applications within a few days, consistently. Okay, they're doing some things right. All right, they're a badass company. She can just tell you so much stories, and they've been able to just totally establish and dominate online within a course of just 6 months since she's been with them. So really awesome story. Guys, if you're new to Dirty and Driven, like I said before, you know, our goal here, gain, train, retain. We are a podcast and we are a training company. We're here to help you establish culture in your company, help you establish a training program in your company, and help you just create a company that people want to work at and stay at, and creating that environment. Follow us at Dirty and Driven. If you like what you hear, you can click on our link tree, which will also take you to our social medias, in the show notes or in our Instagram bio or any of our social media bios. And you can click just the tip and leave a tip in the tip jar if you gain value from this episode, if you enjoyed it. You know, even $1 is cool with us. You know, anything if you just liked it. Also, if you want a free sticker, just DM, connect with us on our website, or email us the word sticker, and we will send you a sticker anywhere in the world for free. Can't beat that deal right there. Anyways, guys, here's Aria. I hope you liked the show. Be sure to give it a 5-star review, because I know you're going to get value out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I'm glad we could finally work it out. This week's been a wild week. I was this close to not being able to record. Had a little incident at work with some truck drivers, but
oh no,
we're here now.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's cool to have you on. I'm glad you reached out. I've always been a fan of you guys' page. I am just always enamored by how much freaking equipment you guys have.
Yeah, I actually have to update the website. I think it says 700 right now, and we're up to 992 at this point.
Pieces of equipment?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that all dirt?
Yeah.
Wow. 992. Do you own all those, or do you rent some of them?
Mm-hmm. That's owned.
Wow. Do you also have rented equipment?
Mm-hmm. So our Hyundai project, when we started there, we needed 250 pieces of equipment alone on that site. And so we rented some for that site.
Wow. Where is that project at?
Kingston, Georgia, which is like right outside of Cartersville. Yeah.
That's insane. So tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
that job, because you were telling me about it before we hopped on here. So you said it's Hyundai. Is that like a manufacturing plant, or what is it?
Yeah. So it's Hyundai and then SK Battery, and they're manufacturing electric batteries for vehicles. But it's just been picked up by like New York Times. I mean, everyone's talking about it. It's like, it's funny, when I first started, it's the first project I ever like went on site to. So coming on board and then seeing this massive site, like I kind of didn't really think different. I'm like, going on this big site. Everyone's like, no, you don't understand. This is 600 acres. There's 215 pieces of equipment out here. Like, this is a big deal. So being able to showcase it, from start to where it is now has been so much fun. I actually got to ride on the 777 out there, and you feel like a monster on this massive site. And so it's just, I don't know, it's a fun project. We have like 4 different crews on that site and superintendents. So you also see how everyone works differently, but kind of in sync at the same time. So it's just a really cool site to see.
Wow, that's insane. I mean, to orchestrate that whole thing is incredible. I mean, I'm sure you have a village of job trailers, as one would. And how many employees
we
do you have on that
actually
site?
started oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
We fed them, like everyone on site, I think it was like the first 4 or 5 months, with food trucks every day. So not only the trailers, there's like 3 food trucks out there.
Wow.
Because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So there's a lot going on out there.
How many people are on that site?
Well, when we first started, obviously like 215 operating, but we have like 4 different superintendents. I think there's 5 to 6 safety people out there. Our safety director is actually on that site full time right now, just because that site has so many moving parts. So he has his team out there, some of the members, but he's been out there full time. Wow. So I mean, honestly, like at one point there was 250 people out there.
Wow, 250 people on site.
But now the phase we're in, we don't have as much equipment or anything out there.
Huh. Wow.
I was thinking all them food trucks have to help with the morale of everyone working.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? You can bring your bologna sandwiches and stuff, but if you have some choices, that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just
we did a safety lunch out there, and it was so much fun, but it was chaos because like 215 people trying to raffle and give out awards and things like that on a lunch break. And actually, when Aaron came out there, he captured this video of a drone shot of all of the trucks parked, and like lunch break is over, and had them all loading out.
I saw that video.
And it was a big hit. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, they get a lunch break?" Like, yeah, food trucks too. Come work for Plateau.
Yeah. Geez, do you just is that a line item on the job? Like Paco's Tacos?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have just like one out there trying to feed everybody, or do you have like multiple food trucks just lined up?
Safety lunch, when everyone was going at the same time, we had 3, but mostly every day there was one, and they kind of came in shifts. It wasn't everyone just like bombarding them at once.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard. I mean, like where I work, we have a fluctuating 30 to 40 person crew usually. And I mean, just getting everybody coordinated to feed them is tough. I mean, I can't even imagine trying to feed I mean, you think about it, like people plan for months, like a banquet to feed 250 people and stuff like that. And here you are just like, yep, we did it
like weddings. I mean, it's like a whole ordeal orchestrating it.
Yeah.
I always bring in peanut butter and jelly because I feel bad being like the marketing person coming outside for that day. Like, let me cut in line real quick.
Yeah.
You're out here sweating, doing the job.
I wonder what the food trucks are thinking. They're just like driving out there, like middle of nowhere and just like barren land. And they're like, are we in the right place?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking
they show up and there's a line of 200 people.
I'm thinking the food trucks are probably pretty happy getting that contract to feed y'all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta be. That's so cool.
Yeah.
What? I mean, that's incredible. So is that like a regular thing? Like, do you guys regularly try to feed your people?
I think it depends on the site, especially when one is so remote, with no restaurants or anything around. Sometimes I know like the contractors, feed the site, so we don't have to. I know Clayco is really great about feeding sites weekly. I went out there to one of our sites a couple weeks ago, and they were all eating Olive Garden. So they got Olive Garden delivered.
I wouldn't bitch about that.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, like, we had this discussion the other day, like, a lot of office people, like, especially, I mean, I'm talking in reference to construction offices. It's like they'll buy, the people in the office lunch, once a week, once a month. And then it's like the guys in the crew, it's like, well, they kind of just forget they exist sometimes.
Yeah.
So to take that big of just that big of a food bill that's thousands of dollars every time you try to feed people. I
think that's like one of our biggest push when it comes to making lunch. We spread it out to different job sites, and it's been one of the funnest parts of my job, like being able to see different job sites, different states, but being able to see the people in the field, because it is true, like people will drop off biscuits or whatever to the office, vendors or clients, and so being able to like treat and showcase the appreciation and love to people in the field, it's like probably my favorite part of the job.
Yeah.
We actually did a luncheon the other day, and we partnered with Yancey, and we ordered a lot of pizza, and each person on the job site got their own like large pizza.
Dang.
Like, yeah. Like, here you go.
Pizza super party.
Yeah. But yeah, it's, they need to love too. Like you said, it's not just about the people in the office, like making the family feel across the board. So
yeah. I actually just literally yesterday, I got onto one of the girls in our office because there was a guy, one of our suppliers came by, and he brought like a whole thing of baked goods, like nice stuff. And I was in a meeting, and so they're like, oh, well, James can't come talk right now. But he's like, oh, okay, well, just pass this on to him. Thanks for your business, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, we may have eaten this. And I got pissed. And she's like, well, I knew you weren't going to. I was like, I wasn't going to, but we have guys out in the field. You guys get shit all the time.
Yeah.
I got kind of mad about it. She's like, well, now I feel bad. I was like, well, keep them in mind next time.
Yeah.
Because they don't get
during
shit.
Safety Week, my trunk was like just full of random stuff, keychains, hats, food, snacks. And I was like, I would pull up on job sites and just open the trunk and pass out. So that's been fun. We just like celebrated our 40th anniversary. So every single Plateau employee, we have about 1,200 right now, got a hat and a shirt. So being able to pass out these nice leather patch hats to every single employee has been pretty cool too.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So she answered my question that I was getting ready to ask, and that was going to be, were all hands on deck at this site that you were talking about, or do you have other projects going? But when you say you have 1,200 employees, I can do the math that there's, at least 950 elsewhere than that site. So.
Yeah. So we're all over the Southeast. Right now, we have products in Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, obviously Georgia, South Carolina.
Dang. I can't even imagine getting permits to move that many machines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass to move like a few every week, but I mean, moving that many machines and that many haul trucks and that many haul truck drivers and just mail ordering that much big equipment down the highway is incredible.
Yeah, the logistics, and then think about it, just all the mechanicking and stuff that needs to be involved to maintain everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's been one of our biggest hiring needs too, like field mechanics that travel on the site. So I've been trying to push that a lot on social media, hiring that field and shop mechanic, just because we are so spread out. So needing someone in Gallatin, Tennessee versus, Kentucky to Georgia, it's definitely a big hiring need.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have an odd amount of mechanics that follow us and listen to this show because we do so much with the Certified Wrench podcast. And so we've gained a lot of field mechanic following. So if you're looking for a job, guys out there, hit up Plateau.
Yeah.
You might get tacos or Olive Garden.
Yeah, exactly.
So you keep talking about safety week and your safety luncheon and stuff like that. So that's obviously a very big part of you guys is safety, which everybody says safety is a big part of them. But tell me about these safety days, these safety weeks. Just obviously, I mean, you've mentioned it so much. Let's hear about that.
Yeah. So obviously we take pride in safety. I think our EMR rating is one of the best, like well above average. And having a full-time safety director, we have like a safe and sound approach. He has his safety team, safety managers on every single site. But really the safety lunches are for sites that haven't had any safety incidents that obviously, put importance in the safety. So then we go to that site, showcase appreciation with fun raffles. The superintendent pick out a specific person to give awards to. They get a gift card and a certificate. And it's just a fun day. And we rotate different sites. So it helps showcase too, online. What's cool is seeing family members post. Like if they see their brother or husband or someone who got the award, they're like, oh, go John, way to go, or whatever. So being able to like showcase that and online is great.
Yeah. So how do you determine, and I know this might be getting out of your wheelhouse a little bit, but how do you determine like who gets a safety award? Because I've always heard, you got to be careful with giving safety incentives because you don't want people to hide injuries or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sound like what you guys are doing. So how do you determine that and what kind of walk that line?
Honestly, it's left directly up to the superintendent.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's just, a guy who's really exhibiting it and doing things right and
yeah.
And getting
I know,
rewarded for it.
With the safe and sound approach, it's communicating it with one another. One of the job sites, every morning, they obviously do their stretch and flex, and then a safety meeting. But their site in particular, like every Friday, they make it fun. They call it Flashy Friday. And they did this themselves. But they all wear like flashy shirts, like flamingos or whatever it may be, Friday morning. And then they give an award to the person's like flashiest shirt during the stretch and flex and the safety meeting. So making it fun too, I think is important. So I think also why those lunches are important, where like obviously safety is a very serious topic, but at the end of the day, they all work so hard. So like being able to make some fun out of it, I think is, important to them.
I've never heard of anybody actually truly making safety fun, but Flashy Friday sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. I have a picture of it. I'll have to send it to you after this.
Please do. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a video of them doing stretch and flex too.
I have that too. They had speakers and music player, and I'm like, dang, they're like getting it out here.
Do all your guys do that or just one of your crews?
That crew is like the speakers and the Flashy Friday. not all of them. Some are pretty just like serious, stretch, get to work.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing Flashy Friday out at Hyundai, to say the least. With 215 people.
But do you make all your people do stretch and flex every day?
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to.
Huh. So we had to do that one time. I was on the asphalt crew, and we were on a wind farm project, and they made us come out to the stretch and flex, and that was one of the most comical things I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, is it just calisthenics?
It's
warm it up for your day?
Yeah.
All right.
It's just like, your old
But I
football
think
stretches.
it's cool with, I saw your post today about like the importance of exercising and this industry and stuff. So I do think it's like it does look really silly, and most people are like, why are we doing this? But just like kind of get your body warmed up before you start the day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge proponent of it. Like, I think it's an amazing thing for people to do. Like, I would love to see more people do it because it makes a difference. Just like if you go play a football game, if you go into a football game and not stretch, I've seen a lot of ACLs and get torn and hammies get pulled and all that. I mean, go play a flag football game with a bunch of 40-year-old dudes. Like, there's going to be some men go down. But it's the same thing. I mean, we're doing hard physical things every day. Like, why don't we do that?
Right. And people think, you're just sitting there, but like, there's a lot of muscles being exerted. I mean, I got in an excavator during Yant Feast training and literally was like, I feel like I'm the most uncoordinated human being right now. Like, trying to work, they're like, okay, this one pulls it back, this one up. And I'm like, what is happening? It's like, it takes a lot of coordination to do it. So.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And the ones not only who do physical labor, the manual labor, that if they're outside hand digging or that type, they need it, but just as much so as the operators in the excavators need it, because when you're in there probably hours at a time, stagnant, not really moving, that's when you're really prone to injuries when you step out and try to start moving.
Oh, right. Yeah. And I think like falling is the number one like incident report when it comes to safety. I actually just did a blog post on that. Like you think of like with heavy equipment, it's, I don't know, something crazy, but it's someone slipping and falling is like the number one injury.
I believe that.
That's ours. I work for an oil company here in Oklahoma, and slips, trips, and falls and it's especially times of year too, either heavy rain or when it's snowy or icy. It's you gotta do the duck walk. You gotta be aware of your condition, your conditions. So
I know I have a hot pink safety vest, and so I'm like obviously very noticeable when I go out on site, and I have my big camera, and a lot of times I'm just walking, videoing, and taking pictures, and I'm like, I'm going to be the one that face plants.
Yeah.
And be noticed in this hot pink vest.
We would attribute, if you fell doing that, we would attribute that to eyes and mind not on task.
Exactly.
That's what it would be, the factor right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I actually gave a safety meeting recently about mounting and dismounting equipment, because that is one of the, slips, trips, falls. That's one of the big things. And a lot of people do it, mounting, dismounting equipment.
When people get into equipment, are they supposed to get in on the left side, kind of like when you mount a horse?
I think it's wherever the door's at, or the ladder.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a standard thing with the equipment also. Is that right? The left side of the horse?
Well, they're actually mounting a cat or a deer, not a horse.
Ah, that's good. There we go.
Yeah.
Boo. And we just lost all our listeners after that joke.
A dad joke over here.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a grandpa joke from me, so.
Yeah.
Times 3.
Damn it. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I love to hear that about your company. Well, I want to get into your background. Then I got some more questions to ask about that specifically, because there's so many ways we could go with this. But tell me how you got into the construction industry.
Yes. So prior to this, I was marketing for kind of like a commercial development company. So I had to wear a hard hat and vest going on sites when we were turning old buildings into wedding venues or whatever it was. Not the grading industry, but kind of in construction. But anyways, this job kind of just fell into my lap, to be honest. I wasn't looking for anything at the time. I had a couple clients in marketing and then was doing that job. But my husband is actually in the industry, so he sells rock aggregate and manages quarries. So he provides rock to Plateau.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so he knew a couple of the senior VPs at Plateau, and we actually went to a Braves game with them. And I guess they were in a meeting a couple days later, and Brad, our CEO, was like, I think we need marketing. He had met with CW Matthews and how they were like kickstarting their marketing and rebranding, hiring. And so he was like, I really want someone in-house. Does anyone know anyone who does marketing? And then they're like, I think Tyler's wife does it. And then next thing I know, I'm hearing him at Plateau.
Yeah, and he's like, baby, you got to get in there because that way on bid day you can see the other rock. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We don't discuss anything like that.
Yeah, no, that would be bad.
Well, that's a perfect example of using your resources and networking to maybe better yourself. I mean, opportunities are out there all the time if you just put the word out.
Exactly.
Well, you never know who you're gonna like. Who's going to help you later? Like, you went. Your husband, who doesn't work for Plateau, but he is affiliated with them because he sells stuff to them, and then now all of a sudden, 126, boom.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's cool.
And I know our CEO president was actually just talking about that of us, starting going to career fairs and internships and things like that. And it's less about us having interns or even hiring this person, but more of that relationship building. Like maybe they don't want to work with Plateau after their internship, but maybe there's a way we can help them to connect with someone where later down the road, it's their dream job, something like that. So being able to use those connections, relationships, because I feel like in this industry, especially, like everything's kind of intertwined together.
So before you went to work for the commercial builder, what did you ever have any thought of construction, any background, any exposure to it?
I mean, I grew up in the industry because my dad has always worked in this industry. Okay. So he's actually a VP of sales at a concrete company. So I remember as a little girl, he would be dispatching on a Friday night to like 8 p.m. And we would go to the plant and like slide down the sand pile. Not safety at all, little kids out there on a concrete plant sliding down a sand pile. Obviously that was quite a few years ago, so things have changed.
That was my dream as a kid, was like I would go by. I told Casey this on a show at one point of like I would always drive by where I work now as a little kid. I had no idea what it was, but I would just see the big pile of sand and I always wanted to slide down it. So I'm jealous of that.
Yeah.
I think I would get in a lot of trouble if I did that now.
Yeah.
There's a natural attraction, especially when you're younger, to piles of dirt and sand and rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids
even heavy equipment. I mean, my kids like tractor, excavator. So I think just in general, and like once again, as we get older, how do you showcase that this industry for those looking for jobs and stuff is like attractive? There's a lot more that goes into the industry than even operate an excavator. Like our pre-construction team, they're geniuses when it comes to like civil engineering and like having estimating, like licenses and all of these things. And so I think when people look at the construction industry too, you just think of like digging dirt, and there's a lot of different parts that go into it. I mean, we have a drone team, and then they analyze drone data. And he was showing me his program, and I'm like, that is insane. The technology that can just take layers off the earth to show you, then bring it to the team to know, what to do with it. So
Do you guys have
I
those
think-
in-house?
Wow. Yeah, we do.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys work with old EJ?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know he actually was the one who shared the link to his. I listened to his podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he came out to one of our job sites. I think it was about a month ago, with our main drone operator. They're friends, and so he came out there and got some good content and footage. It's like a Rivian project,
Cool.
which is another electric vehicle.
These things are going everywhere. Are there a lot of those going up in Georgia?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think. Do we have any of those going up in Oklahoma?
I think we've tried, but
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we have more land than anybody.
Actually
surprised.
We have an electric aviation site project right now. Archer Aviation.
But
so it'll be like electric airplanes.
Yeah,
electric airplane.
I've still wondered how they're going to recharge batteries in the air if some batteries start to die.
Solar powered.
You can only have so much backup battery.
I don't know. Hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
They'll probably.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
We like our oil and gas here in Oklahoma, so we're still heavy on that.
It's still dinosaurs.
Yeah, we like moving dirt, so whatever it is.
Well, how many of them electric batteries are going to be installed in them excavators to move heavy stuff?
They have electric excavators now. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I don't know about them, but they have them.
Yeah.
I bet you guys don't have many of them.
No.
Man, that's cool. All right, so yeah, you get into the industry that way, and then you work for a commercial developer. Did you say you also do like side marketing, or you?
I did prior to this.
Okay, cool.
Like random things, like skincare companies, restaurants. Like I worked for IT, like an app developer, all random things.
Yeah.
But I think it's marketing. You just have to understand that you have to target the right audience. Like I'm obviously not going to pull the things I did in skincare and try and do with Plateau, you know, so it's understanding the audience and how to market to them.
Yeah. So, okay, tell me about Plateau then, because obviously that's a old school company, 40 years old. That's where a lot of construction companies are now, 40 to 80, 100 years old. And a lot of them are still very resistant to marketing. Was that where Plateau was at whenever you got there, or were they pretty open to it? Had they already started a marketing program, or kind of just tell me what it looked like when you entered?
Yeah. So there was no marketing program started. They were working with an agency to try and revamp the website. But the thing when it comes to revamping an entire website, you have to have someone managing the agency. So it fell on the lap of the operations manager, who's also doing his job and 500 things.
I can't imagine an operations manager trying to build a website.
Right. Exactly.
I know a lot of operations managers. They are not good at that.
Yeah. And like, I don't think they want to do that either, you know, but it's just like it needed to be done. And so that was kind of the extent of the marketing. Like, we're going to start trying to redevelop the website. And I think it was like a year and a half in the making. And then I got hired on in February and had the new website live by April.
Nice.
Like, there wasn't even mobile navigation. Like, you couldn't go on your phone and click like about us or anything. So just like, you know, once again, like times have changed. People are on their phones now more. So just making sure it's mobile optimized, things like that. When it came to social media, they're like, you run with it, do whatever you think you need to do.
Nice.
There was only LinkedIn when I started in February. So I've started Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, posting on LinkedIn, obviously YouTube.
So you wait,
Our
this last
TikTok has
February?
just kind of taken off.
Oh, nice. So this last February is when you started?
Yeah, February this year.
Oh, so you've only been in your position for a few months.
Yeah.
And you guys have already, okay, that's cool. I thought it had been like a couple years or something.
No, yeah. So I started literally 6 months ago, 0 Instagram, and we have over 6,000 followers.
Nice.
And that reel like is 338,000 views. And I told everyone, I'm like, yo, this reel. And you know, a lot of the guys don't even have social media, and they're like, "Is that good?" I'm like, "Yes, it's amazing."
That's 300,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So
Yeah.
you start from square one in February, and you go from basically nothing to now you've got a nice website, you've got social media platforms, all of them. You're taking videos. Are you taking all those videos yourself, or do you have other people do that, or how's that working?
The only videos I don't take are the drone videos,
Okay.
which my drone team is amazing. And they load them into this app that I pull them from.
Nice.
So I like cut it and put some cool music to it, you know, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So are you
I
the
let
only,
them handle the drone. I don't want to crash it into an excavation.
I don't blame you. Are you the only marketing person, or do you have multiple?
Just me, one man team.
One man team for 1,200 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much have you seen and I know it's a short period of time. I mean, usually whenever I talk to companies about starting social media and getting an online presence, I say, you know, give it 5 years at the very least before you really start seeing a difference. But have you seen a difference since starting a marketing program with just hiring and gaining more applications and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with operators. I mean, we get probably 45 applicants every few days from social media.
45 applicants every few days.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Like from multiple states or just Georgia or
actually from multiple countries.
Countries.
Is it one of those deals where they have also a long lost relative that can give you $9 million countries?
Not that, but they'll send me like videos or send Plateau like Instagram or Facebook videos of them operating equipment and send me like their legal paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
They always think I'm a sir. Anyone who messages automatically assumes the person behind Plateau's social media is a sir. So they're like, "Hello, sir. I would love to work for your company."
It is ma'am.
Yeah. I just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I go with it too. My name is Casey, but anytime I order something, they'll say, what's the name? And I'll say Casey, and they'll go, Stacy? I go, yeah, Stacy, you know, whatever. I go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
That shows the value to your horn. That shows the value of what you've helped the company out with in the short amount of time, and the value of social media in general. To where when you get that many applicants every couple of days, then you can really start weeding through and getting you some super duper good people.
Right. Yes. And that's the thing too, like the whole shop and field technicians and trying to push these roles that we need. It's kind of twofold, because whereas we are getting so many applications for operators and things like that, unfortunately we haven't gotten as many for like the shop and field technicians. So I don't, you know, if it's just kind of the way of the land of not as many people in that field. Or
so obviously that's a metric that you look at, and then you try to figure out how to get those numbers up.
So spotlighting our shop and field technicians on social media. I've made some like kind of like day in the life videos and reels of like behind the scenes of what they do, things like that. Which like the field technicians, most of them that I met, they absolutely love the fact that they kind of feel like their own boss even in the field. So being able to hear how they work day to day and they're out in the field and stuff, it's been cool just to be able to meet each and every person and like learn, different ways that they work because everyone's just so different. But yeah, I mean, hiring wise, we use social media, we use
Hey,
LinkedIn.
can I cut you off for just a second? I think your AirPods are doing something funky. You're cutting out really bad. Might have to, if it keeps up, it might just have to run without them.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear it? Okay. Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah.
If not, I can pull them out.
Oh, that's actually a lot better. Yeah. It was just causing a really weird, like, robot noises.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I actually am a robot.
She's an AI marketing director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's AI right now.
Yeah. I was going
I need to plug in my battery.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to ask anything about if she's thought about utilizing any of that technology or not yet with the AI, all the applications that you can do to maybe even help doing what you're doing.
I mean, I definitely automate a lot of things. Like we have a monthly newsletter that I schedule it to go out a certain day and time. But I just like starting out, it's not that I don't trust AI or anything, but I'm still learning about the people here and the brands and the company. And so before I just let like a machine run with anything, I want to like fully be dug into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. What were we talking about before we derailed that?
We were talking
hiring.
about hiring and getting the numbers up with the different people. And I was thinking the big equipment gets the shine, obviously, because it's big, cool equipment moving heavy stuff. But some videos that I like watching, and I think a lot of people like watching, are the Will It Run videos. Have you ever seen those? To where, let's say, like your field technicians go out to repair something that's broken down. Well, a lot of times there'll be people out there that maybe might buy a front end loader or an excavator that's broke down, and it'll show them troubleshoot it, and the time, it'll be a quick time lapse deal, but then it'll end up showing them troubleshoot and identify it and getting it up and running. Same deal to where your guys that would probably help out is if they kind of did the old, just kept the old GoPro mounted, maybe in a couple different spots, and then, cut it together where it shows how they identified the problem and got it going.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's a great idea.
There you go. Look at you adding value, Casey.
Yeah.
Dude, but those are awesome. I mean, and I know nothing about mechanicking. I mean, I want to know how to do everything, but there's just not enough time in the day. But there's something cool about seeing something that is dead to the world and then someone go in and solve the problem.
Right. That's actually one of our field technicians' quote I used. His favorite part about his job, he said, is problem solving. He's like, you have this big piece of equipment and being able to troubleshoot it on site to get it going again is like his favorite part of the job.
You know what our boy Eric Strubig calls that, Casey?
What's that?
Learning how to unfuck the puzzle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. And one picture I regret not taking was one time. God, I wish I would have taken. I didn't have my camera with me, and at the time I wasn't really into like the whole social media thing. We had this field mechanic, just to paint a picture of how cool field mechanics are. I mean, they save the day. So we're paving a highway and the paver breaks down. Well, this field mechanic crawls underneath the paver. He's inside it. He's wrenching on this thing for like an hour. We have no idea what's wrong. He just like all of a sudden just like emerges out of this crevice and he's just like completely black. And like there were two mechanics out there, and then he just like sits down afterwards. It's running. He looked like he had just gotten out of the trenches in World War I. He just like leans up against the service truck, lights a cigar, opens a Mountain Dew, and he's just like
I did this.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, it was just like, wow. Like watching that happen is so cool. So, and I get that it's becoming a mechanic's not as easy as just like, hey, let me be a mechanic. But if you go and you learn how to do that and you find a good internship, a place to teach you, a place to learn, you can do some badass stuff. And then you go apply Plateau.
And we actually send our mechanics like Caterpillar trainings,
Hmm.
Komatsu trainings, things like that. There's like a Caterpillar school or something for the mechanics
Wow.
that they go through. Yeah, the program. They also get one of them told me that I didn't know, like a perk, get a fund for their clothes, like on top of their paycheck, because like obviously they're getting, like you said, completely black head to toe. Um, so get some contribution to
Hmm.
clothes.
So you're talking about training and stuff now. Is that something that was around before you were there, like some of these training programs and some of the stuff like that, or has that become more prevalent as you guys have kind of invested more in like your marketing and just making it a fun environment?
Well, I know safety training is a big thing. That's definitely been here way before I started. Caterpillar, like school, all of that, definitely before I started. I know we are looking to actually hire a training director, and actually talked with Buildwood even about like their training app to make it easier for people in the field for certain things like that. So obviously, I think as we grow on marketing and as a company in general, we want to stay innovative, and technology savvy with the training. Um, so it's something we're always keeping in the forefront of our mind.
Mm-hmm. So here at Dirty and Driven, our big thing is gain, train, retain. So obviously, you got to
Mm-hmm.
funnel people in, you got to gain them, you got to get applications. But now, I mean, as I'm sure you know, a lot of your applications are people who have no work experience, and that's great. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we need in the industry is really just more people that we can mold and shape. And so then you
Mm-hmm.
got to train them up, and then you've got to keep your people happy. Now, you guys are hitting
Mm-hmm.
all the right buttons right here for kind of what we do and what we help companies do. So obviously, I would say your bread and butter, and correct me if I'm wrong, is probably the gain part of that, getting funneling
Mm-hmm.
them in. So, what are you doing to get those 45 applications every few days?
I mean, I definitely think people see the culture of Plateau, um, showcased online, and so it's a culture thing. Also, just the magnitude of our projects, people want to be part of growth. Um, we do have a very loyal overall employee like base. I mean, we've 40 years this year, celebrating 4 years. There are two employees that I know that have been with the company for 37 years, still to this day.
Wow.
One, he just celebrated, I think it was his 72nd birthday
Wow.
2 weeks ago.
It sounds like my
And he's
boss.
still a superintendent with us. Um, and that's like not out of the norm for our company. Like a lot of the superintendents out there have been with Plateau for over 30 years.
That's
Most of like the
so cool.
leadership team, it's like 25 years and over. So I think if showcasing that too, I mean, the senior estimator that I showcased online today,
Mm-hmm.
he's been with Plateau for 16 years.
Wow.
So people see if people are staying here this long, obviously it's a good company to be a part of, a family feel, all of the different changes. People have stood by Plateau's side. So I think that that's a big attraction point for people is just seeing loyalty to the brand and the company. Um, which that honestly is one of the reasons that I just kind of jumped on when I was talking with Brad, the president, about the company and everything. Like a big company, but it's such a family feel. Like, yeah, there's 1,200 employees, but the one thing people always say is a family feel, and it is true. I mean, everyone has your back. Everyone like checks in on each other, celebrates each other, and it's just like a big family.
Wow. That's so cool. And
Yeah.
has that culture always been there?
Yeah, it has, and I think Plateau is actually like a publicly traded company. So Sterling infrastructure. I don't remember the exact date when it changed over, but everyone was really worried when we bought Plateau that it would change that family feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still what people say is like Brad, the current CEO president now, made sure that with that purchase and the leaving the founder, the retiring of the founder and owners, that he would keep that family feel.
That's cool. And you guys have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Wow. So showcasing that, you showcase the company's history. You show that we've been here for 40 freaking years. I mean, they say that I had a boss that I used to work for, and he would always say, we'd go eat somewhere, and he goes, man, the restaurant business is a hard damn business to make it in. He said it's the second, I can't remember how he worded it, but basically like it's the second largest number of closings. Like the restaurants are going to close their doors, failing business. It's the second largest failing business in the world. He said, right behind construction companies.
Yeah.
So as we're on our lunch break for construction.
Yeah.
But so making it 40 years is absolutely incredible because so many people just can't do that. And to have guys that have been there for most of that 40 years is even more incredible. And seeing it go from probably, as most of them started, a backhoe and a truck to 1,200 freaking employees and 952 machines, that's insane. So you showcase all that and you show that, hey, we have a family feel and this is a cool place to work. And so I have to wonder, as you're showcasing that, as you start showcasing that, what were your applications like before you were doing all this on social media? And I mean, obviously you said what they're like after. You get 45 every, just call it a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between now and then?
Honestly, I'm not even sure because I know we had like an online portal and we kind of just left it up to the superintendents, really, if they needed to hire someone in their specific area. If we were hiring someone in office, it would be like specific teams. So I don't think it was one person looking through all of the numbers like I do now.
Yeah. Because the number one complaints I hear from everybody, whether it be just companies that I work with in the industry or companies that, Dirty and Driven works with in the industry, is always, man, I just can't find anybody. There's nobody out there. I'm not getting any applications. There's none coming across my desk. But then it's like you Google them and their name doesn't even pop up. Or maybe they have a Facebook page, but the last post was in 2020. Like,
right. And I think that's like the big push with marketing was like this, how do you attract this younger generation?
Yeah.
To such a hard field to be in too. So showcasing that, like, yes, we work hard, but it is a big family and you are celebrated and you are recognized. So I do think that, that's important.
Yeah. So what is the biggest challenge of marketing in the industry?
Obviously, content is, I think, a lot harder than people think,
I agree.
or realize. Like, even coming up with a caption every day, when a lot of our work, we offer so many different projects and services, but at the end of the day, it can kind of all look the same. When it comes to like grading and things like that, until like the finest like finished project. So coming up with the content to stand out from competitors and like how to target that to people to generate that engagement, I feel like that's probably the hardest part. And then also every different channel is so different. I mean, something that performs well on TikTok, for example, there's this video on TikTok. It's actually one of our project managers pressing the button for a blast. And so they yell, they count down and he presses the button and he like turns back and kind of smirks. Actually, I had to cut it off because he was like, that was And I was like,
oh, leave it
protect the
in
brand.
there. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
They're construction workers. They say the F word.
Yeah. And so I posted that on TikTok and it got 76,000 views, like immediately. I'm like, okay, post the same thing on Instagram and it got 1,000. I'm like, wah, wah. It's like every channel is different.
It's so
You're not going to post
weird.
the same thing on TikTok as you do on LinkedIn. So just having the content and knowing kind of how to distinguish what content on each channel.
Yeah. I post the same things I post on TikTok on LinkedIn sometimes, and I do it more to
It's
troll.
like the caption. Does it caption the music?
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn will like auto caption. So you're like, TikTok is like some song that's just being auto captioned.
I like screwing with people by posting weird stuff on LinkedIn. Sometimes it makes like old, like you can tell the hardcore,
Oh yeah.
ex-Marine, oh, why are you posting that? It's just like, I just love it.
Yeah. We actually went and toured like one of our GC's office, and the vice president was like, who in this group is the marketer? And I was like, that would be me. And he was like, you post a lot on LinkedIn. And that's all he said. I'm like, okay.
Okay. Thanks. Well, LinkedIn's such a crazy cool place too, because not very many people post on LinkedIn, but a lot of people get on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah.
So it's such a cool, like when I first started using it, I was like, okay, I like this. It's actually decent value if I'm going to scroll through and read stuff and like look at pictures and videos. Like this is cool. But then like I actually started posting and it's just a very different vibe, but it's a great networking place, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's our main reason for it, is like the whole hiring and networking.
Yeah. So walk me through your application process, because I think that's another target that a lot of construction companies are missing on, is their application process is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. It honestly depends on the role too for us. So it's like, we post like our estimator, senior estimator, project managers on LinkedIn, and they apply on LinkedIn, which is a little different application process than an operator emailing over their experience. And honestly, we still get people calling the main office. And then our like office admin will direct it to the superintendents and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Do you still do paper applications? Do you do them online or both?
We have online,
Yeah.
but if it's a little too complicated for people, we'll just say email it to careers@plateauexcavation.com.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
So it makes it easier.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't even have resumes that are like operators. They just like type out their experience.
Oh, that's cool. And you accept that?
Yeah. I mean,
see, I think that's great, because I've experienced a lot of construction companies that, especially one similar to your size, then it's like you get a guy up there, it's like, no, this is the application. They have to fill it out. And I want it this way. And, they don't understand that, hey, these are construction guys applying.
Right.
Most of these guys don't own a computer. And a lot of these guys are still running a flip phone. So.
And honestly, like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to hiring is when you ask people, or like if I were applying for something and you ask for my resume, but then I have to submit every single like line item in a form. And I'm like, it's in my resume. Like I want to just like put like, please refer to my resume. It's like, why make someone fill out a form that's literally on a piece of paper?
Yeah. Well, and if you make the application process too hard and too rigid, I believe it scares people off, because there's a million people out there and a million companies that are looking for people. And so they come to yours and it's like, you know what? Screw it. This one's really hard to fill out. I'm just going to, I literally did this applying to colleges. Like there was colleges I didn't apply to because I was like, this application sucks.
Yeah.
And so I didn't apply there. And I think that it's the same for the workforce. And like guys come in and, if you can't do it on your phone either, like I said, a lot of guys don't even own a computer. So
right.
you got to make that application process easy.
the project manager role though is like more of the office roles.
Mhm.
I did have to like update and change some of the settings for like the job post on LinkedIn for that, because
Yeah.
like a project manager in the construction industry is a lot different than like a LinkedIn project manager hiring. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Scrum meetings or Scrum Masters.
The only thing I know about scrums is in the game of rugby, but I don't think that that's what you're referring to.
So I like a company I was at, that IT company, we had like a Scrum Master. And basically this person would just huddle the team together for like 15 minutes and like look at this tool and organize what everyone's doing. So they like project manage the team. But these meetings were called Scrum meetings. I have no idea. So anyway, we got all of these applications for our project managers that are Scrum Masters, and we're like, no, it's a lot different field.
That's different.
Yeah, you have to look up Scrum Master after this.
Yeah, I will definitely. Yeah,
I'm
write that
writing
down,
it down
Casey.
right
There we
now.
go.
Yeah.
Sweet. Look at Casey. Came
And
prepared.
then go on LinkedIn and type in Scrum Master and see how many people have this title.
Yeah, when I hear the
Yeah.
word scrum, I can just think of whenever I played rugby and I was in a scrum and I had to stick my head between like two sweaty dudes' asses. So I don't think that's what's going on here.
Not the same thing. They're in air conditioning, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Hopefully no heads between asses, even if they're in air
Yeah.
conditioning.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say that we can easily soundbite what you just said. Just that sticking your
Yeah.
head between guys' asses.
Dude,
just,
there's pictures of
and
it.
just
I
put
mean,
it on a loop over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've played rugby and you've been a forward, then you know what I'm saying. We got a few rugby players that listen to this. They know what I'm talking about. Soundbite it, Casey.
Oh yeah.
Let me see you soundbite
Yeah.
it.
I can do it. I ain't scared.
Yeah, that's really cool though. I really like to hear that. It's so simple. It's such a simple thing to make your application process easier. Just to say like, oh, the application sucks for you. Okay, well, just email us your experience and we'll help you. That's
Right.
something
Yeah.
that people just aren't willing to do.
Yeah.
So, and what you're saying, you have 1,200 employees, which
Mm.
even with a low turnover rate, you're still constantly needing to hire more. So, wow, I just totally lost my train of thought. You thought I was about to say something profound, but I really just stopped thinking.
Well, and also, it sounds like to me the company is probably ever growing. I mean, you're not limited to 1,200 because with the presence that you have now in social media, showing these big projects with 250 people out there in the food truck and all that, moving that, then that's going to get more eyes and more potential clients to hire you to do more work. And when you have more work to do, you're either turning it down or you're hiring more people and your company's growing. So,
yep, exactly.
Yeah, so that's
and I think too, back on that whole relationship thing that we had talked about, touched on kind of in the beginning, where it's like a lot of the people we hire too, it's like relationship based with certain, it's like my sister, my brother works in the field and is an operator here, and they live here, so maybe like we hire them in a different state. It's actually really cool to see a lot of like father-son duos on site now, where the dad has been with a company for 25 years and now the son wants to be an operator, so he's like on the site. Actually, no, I think there's like at least 5 father-son duos right now on job sites together. So it's really cool seeing kind of that too, like the growth, and once again the family feel, where it's like, yes, we're this big huge company, but it's still that family feel to it.
So would you say that you guys still have a hiring problem of hiring people?
For certain roles, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And I think too, it's like the roles like that would need more experience, like senior PMs or senior estimators. I do think in this industry, people stay with certain companies for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it's filling those roles where if someone retires or we do grow and we need senior in that role. We don't really have any issues like hiring assistant project managers or anything. Like we want to train people and obviously hire those people, but it's more of like the senior level
Mm-hmm.
that I think is like the issues with like the PM and estimator.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So I mean, and those are always hard spots to fill. Just finding to get a spot of leadership, finding the right person for that is just tough. Because you got to get somebody that fits your culture, somebody who
Exactly.
actually understands what's going on, and somebody who can handle the stress and learn. Because even if you're an estimator, like I mean, I'm an estimator. I bid big jobs, but if I went to work for you, it'd just be a totally different animal because you guys do things differently than I
Right.
do. I mean, of course, different states, different stuff. I mean, could I learn it? Could I handle it? Yeah, but it's just a different animal altogether. So everything would have to fit together and make sure
Right.
whoever it is the right for that role for senior stuff. So I could see where that'd be
Yeah.
difficult. So what about the next question I have is a lot of people say there's no brand loyalty anymore. I hire a guy and I train him up and he leaves as soon as somebody else offers him $1 more. Do you guys see that happen much?
No, I mean, if you look at everyone's kind of tenor here, I think there's definitely strong brand loyalty. On the operator level, I'm not quite sure, but I still think like the way everyone treats each other as family and kind of stays loyal to like their superintendent even, that there's not really high turnover.
Wow. That's just so cool to hear. And I think that it's companies like you guys and, really showcasing what you do and stuff like that that makes your people want to stay. And,
Mm-hmm.
you hear all that stuff. Like whenever I hear guys say, we have a hiring problem, we can't find anybody, I have no applications, no one's coming through the door, I can't get anybody to stick around. What I truly hear is we don't market ourselves.
Right.
We're not giving these people the opportunity to truly flourish.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not giving them a reason to stay. It's just a paycheck for them. And they're going to leave
Right.
once they find something that's more alluring.
Yeah. And I actually know, like, touching on that, like, some of our people that I've talked to is like, I would follow so and so anywhere, their superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like cool too to see them loyal to like their specific superintendent, where it's like, yes, they're loyal to Plateau, but who they work for, even, and that just goes show like leadership is needed in a company. It's not just the brand, it's not just like what I show on social media, but it's like truly the people and how they lead. And so, that's a big thing. Like a lot of these guys, they're with each other more than their own families
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like the days on job sites. So, you want to be able to work for people you trust and like to be around. But I also just think like that leadership aspect to it, where someone saying I would follow such and such wherever he goes, I think is such a huge like saying to say about someone in this industry.
So have you gotten any pushback from anybody as far as like establishing a marketing program?
No, I haven't gotten any pushback.
That's cool. I know that sometimes like I'll take my camera to job sites and guys are like, man, get that out of here.
Yeah. I mean, when I go on job sites, I make sure to not slow it down by any means.
Yeah.
And then show them respect. Like, I'm not going to be trying to get on every single piece of equipment and stay out of their way, show respect. I think the only pushback has been with our logo, like rebranding. So our logo has the dozer in the middle. That's like our original logo from 40 years ago. But if you look at it, it's very detailed. And so when it comes to certain like marketing materials or shirts or like just different things, it's hard to get that detail of the dozer in the middle. And then also too, our company is growing. We're not just like a dozer. So how do we showcase like our company on, different ways, like a shirt, like with a logo and things like that. So anyways, we came up with a secondary logo that has Plateau just sprayed across and this little symbol that was pulled from the original logo. And I made sure to make the team aware of why this secondary logo was created, the purpose of it, like rebranding, all of the things. And I know that there was a little pushback for that. And still to this day, that logos and certain things, certain people give a little pushback to it, but I keep wearing on them.
Yeah.
It's always the old timers that give the pushback. They don't like change.
Well, they're used to seeing it one way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean, everyone has truly been amazing. Like I said, a lot of people don't even have social media, but they will come up to me and like, how can I help you? How can I help the brands online? My wife, I told her to follow, or whatever it may be. So I mean, it's honestly all been so positive, especially for a company having nothing at all. I did think, I was like, oh, people are probably going to be like, this girl out here just taking pictures. But they'll come up and be like, you want me to take you back here to this cut? Or like, you want to hop in the truck? The one day I got to ride in the 777, it was freezing that morning. Not prepared. So I'm on the site, trying to act tough, not like I'm frozen to death. And one of the guys came up and gave me his jacket, and it was like a 3XL, and I'm 5'4". So it came
the
down to
jacket's
my
bigger
ankles.
than you are.
Yeah. And so I was climbing up on the truck in this massive jacket, and I had my phones in the pockets, and I got up in the cab, and I was like, oh shit, where's my phone? And Vaughn, who was the driver of it, he was like, oh, it's a taco now. I was like, oh my god. Literally ran over an iPhone.
Oh no.
This
Whoopsies.
massive truck, but it still worked. I'm like, Apple should use it as a commercial that this massive Caterpillar truck can run over an iPhone and it still works.
Should have videoed it.
It was shattered, but
well,
still worked.
as it would be.
Yeah.
It might have had bulletproof glass, but not track hoe.
Yeah, it can't withstand
Glass.
thousands of pounds,
Yeah.
tens of thousands of pounds.
Was full of dirt too in the back.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you give them heads up before you go out and start rolling with the camera?
Some sites they do.
Well,
But
because
then some are like the sneaky surprise.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look too staged.
Yeah, a lot of times this guy right here will pull out the camera and start videoing when I'm not. Dude, come on, man! You should have given me a head. Not now.
No, dude. Because if I give you a heads up, you start acting different.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm like. I want him to look natural, like. But now, once again, I think because it's like the pink vest, like I walk out of my car and then everyone starts throwing up the peace signs, and I'm like, no, don't pose.
Yeah. No, that's the hard part, is like finding that line. There was one time I went out on a really big job site, and the superintendent was my age, and he was like, I actually went to college with him, and he was like, oh yeah, dude, he's like, let me move the excavator like this. He's like, let me get that old excavator out of the shot. Let me get this new one we have over here parked. It's a little smaller. That's why we're not using it. Let me get it in there digging for you. I was like, no, stop doing that. I was like, just show me the real shit. And he's like, but this one's shinier and this one's, I can pose it like, I was like, no, dude, I just let me get what you're doing. Like, don't do a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's
I was actually on it.
I was going to say there's some term for that people act differently when they know that they're being filmed or recorded. There's a certain term that pretty much explains that.
I was on a job site 2 mornings ago. I did like a sunrise shoot.
I saw that. That was cool.
And I was walking around, and there was the water truck, and he wasn't spraying or anything yet. I don't know if it was like so early, he was like going somewhere, whatever, but he honked and sprayed his water. I guess for like a cool shot, but he didn't realize there was like a buggy behind him, like a golf sprayed his water for the cool shot, and then the people behind.
Yeah.
Did you get that on video?
Okay. No, I didn't have it videoing because I was taking a picture of him, and I'm like, dang it, I know.
That would have been your viral TikTok right there.
I know.
That's funny.
Then if you try to recreate it, it won't have the same effect, you know.
I'm sure won't.
Oh no.
You tell the old people that were in that golf cart or buggy behind them to, all right, can y'all get back? Oh, I guess I will.
Exactly.
They're not gonna know who's gonna agree to doing that.
This is gonna go viral, you know, Flo and, you know, Ernest. I was trying to think of the old people's name.
I don't care about your Viagra.
The hell's a viral video?
I have to be careful. Like now, especially when I first started, you know, understanding certain things that you're not really supposed to be doing. Not me, like what the operators are doing. And I just like, la la la, and post it. And then I would get a text and it's like, what job site is that at? And I'm like, why? And they're like, they're not supposed to be top loading that. I'm like, oh, okay, let me delete real quick. So it's also been kind of like a learning experience too, just knowing what to showcase.
Yeah,
and not get anyone in trouble.
Yeah, that's a great point. Do you have total control on posting things, or do you run that by somebody to make sure that it doesn't shine a bad light on the practices that's going on?
I have total control, but when it comes to certain things, especially when it's like people out in the field, like around a manhole or whatever it may be, I'll send it to our safety director. I'll text it over and be like, is this safe?
That's something that we have to tread lightly on whenever I'm at where I'm at with the energy company. Is if we take pictures or video, for one, a lot of times we have to have permission, but if we take pictures or videos, and then if we share that with the safety team saying, hey, look what I had a good safety catch, a good find, or if we share it to social media, wherever it is, it'll get scrutinized. And next thing you know, there's a lot of bad little items that are in there that we didn't see, or they might pinpoint something saying, dude, why didn't somebody report that to us? Just from, you know, you're trying to do a good thing by, you know, showcasing something. And next thing you know, you're on the other end of it and there's an investigation going on. So you got to use discretion on, you know, what to share and post.
Right. And you know, even with that too, like safety, silly, like the more you grow, the more scrutiny you're going to have on things too, when it comes to your presence online. But we were doing a training at Yancey's like training center. So it wasn't a job site. It's literally, they made like training ground at like this hunting camp. And I was in the excavator and it wasn't even moving. Like I wasn't moving it forward and back. I just was moving the bucket. And the guy with Yancey was standing on the edge of it, like telling me what buttons to press. Our safety director got so many calls and was like, I can't believe y'all have someone hanging off an excavator like that. And like, one, it's not our team, it's CNC training. Two, it's like not even on a job site, you know, but it's like the way it was posted, people just assume. So like I took it down, obviously, but I even had made a joke about it where it was like a funny TikTok, like how I could not operate it. But just, you know, making sure we showcase us as a safe brand. Also too, we have to be careful. Like some of our projects we have NDAs for, so it's like I can't say who the project is or where. So that gets pretty interesting too when I'm posting.
Interesting.
Sounds like she's had a lot of practice.
What do you mean?
Knowing what to post,
knowing what not to post.
Yeah, that's. And then I mean, you as long as you're learning, I mean, you're only going to hopefully make that mistake one time, you know.
Yeah.
So whenever you're writing your captions and figuring out what to post, I mean, obviously you're not an operator or laborer or anything like that. How are you going about making sure the content is like respectful to who's actually doing the work and like making sure it's kind of on brand and not just total, you know, made up?
some of it is like catchy, funny stuff. Like I feel like you have to throw that in there with the serious stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like rolling through the week, and it's like a roller, like or
Whew,
pushing
back to
through
the
the
bad
week.
jokes.
Those are the
Wow.
days that my brain is fried, and I'm like, I don't know what caption to put. Let me just put pushing through the week, and
Yeah.
it usually like performs the best.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just pulled from like our overall like company mission statement, vision statement, core values, like pulling all of our company's kind of like brand deck and then slicing it up to use on social media
Mm-hmm.
or like a blog post and like taking things out of it. So it's like our website is holding all of the information,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just can pull snippets to use online on the social media.
I see. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I love about you guys' social media is like, had you not reached out, I would have just assumed it was like, they just get some of their operators, stuff like that, to send them stuff. Maybe they bring out someone professional or something like that. But I love how your social media is not polished corporate bullshit. It's not just like stock photos and like, look at the good things our office employees did today. It's
Yeah.
real shit. It's what you guys
Yeah.
do. And that is what separates construction companies who are, trying to get into social media, or construction companies who only have a Facebook page that posts once a blue moon. And you guys is you are actually posting the work, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that was the main thing was when I got hired, they could have went to a marketing agency and had it done out like externally, but having someone who is in-house and understands the culture and the people and being able to showcase that was like the main thing I wanted for marketing. So when I started, like that was my main thing, was like how can I showcase the people here and like what we do in a way that shows who we are. We're not some stock photo company. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna walk out on a site and have like a stock photo type crew at every different location. I mean, every crew is different, every site's different.
Mm-hmm.
And like how can you showcase that? Every person's different. So I think that has been like such a cool thing to be able to do. I mean, when I started, like half of the pictures and photos are literally from my phone.
Yeah.
So like I just got this camera, and even that I'm like terrified to use it like on job sites. Like rocks are fine. I have this massive camera, like but I think it does like I can zoom in better and stuff onto the equipment, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think showcasing a real brand, like I hate stock photos more than anything, and that was my biggest thing when it came to the website. When it was like being designed, I'm like, we don't need some stock photo of 3 people carrying a clipboard on a job site.
Yeah.
Like I will go out right now and take a picture of like our actual team. So
yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Is actually showing your people. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what are the other biggest benefits you've seen since starting a marketing program? Obviously, I mean, I'm sure you have a long way to go to get to where you'd like to see it, but you've made serious strides in 6 months. And what have been the biggest advantages to that?
I think one of the biggest advantages is because the company is so spread out. Like, yes, it's a family feel, but we have people in Florida, we have people in Huntsville, Kentucky, all of these different locations. Having like a digital presence where employees can learn about each other online, or our monthly newsletter where I do the employee spotlight, the newsletter, but also I post like happy birthday. So each month we say happy birthday to all these people and happy working anniversary. Like there's a little section about a safety topic tip, and then Brad, the president, gives a little blurb as well. But the feedback that I've gotten from a lot of people, like specifically like our Huntsville location, is they feel like far from the office. And obviously they don't get to just come back and forth like they're on that job site. that they feel more connected than ever with the office and with the other like sites and locations just because of like social media and the newsletter. Also too, like just learning more about your colleagues. You're not going to ask someone, you're not going to walk up and say like, what's a random fact about you?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll send in the blog post and you'll get to learn about that. So I think just like kind of the morale, and once again, like the office not being propped up specifically where it's like spread out to a lot of the field and things like that to feel connected overall has been probably the biggest benefit.
How do you preserve a culture in a company that's so spread out?
I think once again, it just comes from the top, like the leaders on the site, making sure that they showcase that culture and bring that culture wherever they go. And then I will say our like executive leadership team does a great job of like going out on job sites daily and making their faces known. Like they're not sitting in the office behind their computers. They're out on job sites each and every day, talking to people, checking in. So I think that's a big thing too.
That's awesome.
You know, it's not like our senior VPs aren't in suits sitting in the office. You know, they're out in boots on the job site.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's what you love to hear right there. Well, what would you say to anybody who would want to pursue this type of career?
I would say you have to work hard. It definitely is a hard industry, but it's so worth it. So I think don't be scared to get into the industry, and just, you know, go for it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what is the dirtiest job you've ever had to do?
Let's think. Like in this role or just in life?
In life. What's the dirtiest job you've
Because I
ever
feel
found
like as
yourself
a mom, I've done some pretty dirty jobs.
All right, let's hear it. Yeah, your dirtiest job you've ever had.
I mean, I would say like catching my kids throw up in my bare hands, like eating cheese toast in the other because I was starving was pretty dirty. But like as a mom, it's like you just got to get it done. I don't know. I'm like, I'm not dropping my cheese toast at this time.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love that. What a unique answer. I was not expecting that one.
It literally happened a month ago, so it's in like the forefront of my mind.
It all comes down to sewage. That's everybody's dirtiest job, and it's no different with you. It's just yours isn't spewing out of a sewer line you hit with your excavator. It's spewing out of your child.
Yeah, exactly. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I've learned a lot from this conversation. Do you have any questions for us or anything?
No, I mean, I appreciate the time. I love your brand and what you guys do. You know, I think that these type of brands and companies are needed in the industry, and especially digitally, and I see that kind of attraction to it, like the Aaron Wood and Build Wood, and then you have your brand growing. So I think it's really cool to see like this blue collar push online.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I can ever do, you just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm sure I'm going to have all sorts of stuff. One of these days, I'm going to hit you up and say, all right, I am southbound.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come on.
Yeah. I'd love to see you guys'
make sure
operations.
there's a food truck that day.
Yeah. Me and Casey will come on Olive Garden Day.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
I can mess up those soup salad and breadsticks.
Yeah.
Funny story about that is I used to take Victoria there on dates in a college, because like we could go and like I would order, and I love the soup salad and breadsticks. I mean, I can put some food down, and back then it was like $7 for students.
Yeah.
And so like I would go and I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go to Olive Garden. And then I'd just like order that because it was cheap actually, but I could eat a lot. And then she'd be like, oh, you just brought me here to be, I'm like, no, I love the soup salad and breadsticks. You get whatever you want. And then it's just because I could eat there for $7.
For sure.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. We will definitely keep in touch, and I appreciate your time.
I appreciate it too. Thank you.
Casey, you got any final thoughts?
No, it was I enjoyed it, and it
I did
was
too.
it was
Thank
cool
you.
to sit down and talk.
Cool. Well,
Appreciate it.
by God.
By God, have a good one.
You too.
Bye bye.